The last few weeks basically consisted of me flying home from work in order to receive the 8 million packages of front end parts that have created this beauty you see before you. But make no mistake, it was definitely a tricky process to make this front end work in practice. There was a ton of money saved here, but in the interest of trial and error, there was also some money wasted. In any case, there are some kind folks that I have to thank regarding the topic of money because they've helped make this doable. My thanks goes out to all of the pre-existing patrons again, but there's also some new ones who I'm very much obligated to show some gratitude to. Many thanks to Benjamin Davis, Ed Ruddle, Flaming Carrot, Graham Cassidy, Jay Cabellis, JP, Jim King, Josh Plummer, Michael, Peter Smith, Prim Viper V10, Standard Hope, and Tor Dalzell. You're very, very much appreciated. I can't stress that enough. At the end of the last video, I had said that I was gonna get the wheels powder coated as the next step. Well, that was a lie. I just couldn't decide which color to get, so I put it to the side and just focused on the meat and potatoes of the front end. You know, starting with the brake calipers. You can't go wrong there, right? Now, last episode, I said I was gonna run silver calipers to match the fork bottoms. Well, the lie detector test determined that that was a lie too, but I can explain. And in order to explain, I kind of have to exposit some information about calipers. So, buckle up, I guess. My year GSXR forks came with these splittable calipers, 2 of them, and they're made for 300mm discs. It can be replaced by brand new Brembo M4 monoblock calipers with 108mm pitch, and they will bolt right up. But here's the thing, you're basically going to be paying $600–700 for those calipers brand new. You could opt for a set of M4s from like a Ducati or an Aprilia or something, but those bikes run a 100mm pitch as opposed to the 108mm pitch that you'll find on Japanese bikes. $700 for some really good brakes on your race bike or your track bike is probably something that you'll just have to deal with. But I'm not going to be setting lap times on this thing, you know. I just want something that's nice to look at and maybe with a decent boost in performance that wouldn't require a rebuild. So a user by the name of Ian Dirtsy had actually let me know that I can run the later model GSXR 1000 Brembos that came on the 2009 and up models. Now these are comparable to the factory M4s, they basically are M4s, but they're a collaboration between Suzuki and Brembo. The important thing is that even though they're built for 310mm rotors, they will actually accept 300mm, although basically not going to get as much stopping force as if you was running 310mm. So you might ask, why not buy a set of 2013 GSXR 1000 calipers and also a set of 310mm brake rotors from the same bike? Well, here's the thing. They actually changed the bolt pattern for the rotors since 2008, and they wouldn't just bolt straight up because now they use 6 bolts instead of 5. But I'm still not stuck with the 2004-2005 300mm rotors because guess what? The SV1000s actually have a 310mm rotor from the factory, but it still has the older style mounting setup. And what that would look like is a 2004 to 2005 600 to 750 wheel with a 2003 to 2007 SV1000 rotor being chomped on by 2009 and up calipers. So it's like a real mosh pit of different bikes. I still just couldn't find a cheap set of silvers. Like they were either dirty and scratched and potentially in need of a rebuild, or they were like pristine and they wanted $500+ for them. I settled for the second best set of gold ones that I saw on eBay. Second best because there was actually a set for $400 that were cleaned while these weren't cleaned. And the problem with buying dirty calipers is that you don't really know if there's any scratches under the dirt. To save $50, I still rolled the dice on these and holy shit. These things cleaned up so nice that if you'd have told me that they were brand new, I would 100% believe you. I was immediately happy because even when they arrived, they actually looked really good out of the box. And these are off of a 2013 GSXR 1000, and they have that dull gold that I really like. I cleaned one of them first with everything that you see right here. A buffer, brush, wax, compressed air, and most importantly, this stuff. This is some wheel cleaner from a company called Adams Polishes. And the reason why these are so good for brakes is because these are specifically made to remove brake dust. The blue compound turns purple when it comes in contact with brake dust and grime, and it rolls it right off. The Eco Green one was basically like a nice mild soap. Both are safe on anodizing or powder coatings or clear coats or whatever you want to use it on. And I'm not even sponsored by them, I'm just like really recommending it because these things transform these calipers. The one on the right was after just one round of washing, and you can see that the brake dust is gone, and even the red Brembo lettering is brighter on this one, not to mention the gold shine being brighter. After a few rounds of washing and detailing, I was extremely happy with how these things turned out. $350 in an hour of elbow grease definitely beats $600 or $700 for off-the-shelf M4s. After that, I was on an absolute crusade to save money wherever I could. And since damn near the beginning of this build, I already knew which bars that I wanted to run. The ABM MULTICLIP. But thing is, they're obscenely expensive. I mean, $400 for a set? Sure, you get a lot of adjustability, but $400 makes 0 sense to me. So I then remembered the Apex adjustable clip-ons that I had on the SV1000 back in the day. Granted, I now know that the MULTICLIP bars actually lend themselves more to a custom build because they can have the wires routed through them easier because they're hollow. But we'll come back to that. The Apex bars are $300, which is already less than the MULTICLIPs, but I wanted to take the savings even further than that. So take a look. So what these are 2 adjustable RIZOMA clip-ons from this company called Apex. I have a history with these. These are actually the bars that I ran on the SV1000. But anyway, as you can see, they have some real rough damage. So these came off of a 2012 Yamaha R6, which makes sense because this is actually the same clutch perch that I have on my FC1. So I recognize this. I can actually use this and keep this in case I need to. These must have been on like a stunt bike or something because this is that's just gnarly. You know, if a bike goes down, then it's usually the bar end that gets screwed up, and I can see it's already kind of screwed up, but that's something different. This is like the bike went lunchtime or something. Like the bike flipped because this one is damaged. That's the worst of it though. It gets better after that. This one isn't too bad, especially the clamp. Like this little post has some damage on the top. In my box of great ideas, I'm gonna strip it down to bare aluminum and then just sand it down, like to even it out, and then just either powder coat it or paint it. Because here's the thing, I only paid $37 for these, shipped. So $37 compared to $300 to get them brand new. I'll leave these alone because these are gonna be hidden anyway. But these parts right here, I gotta get those refinished. And I can show you how this is supposed to work. So this is supposed to go around the fork. These are 50 mil. I think a lot of sport bikes run 50 mil forks. So these came off of an R6, but the forks that I have, which are GSXR, they're the same. It's the same diameter. And then you take this, you have all of this room to play with how high or how low you want your bars. So you don't have to like do it like a typical sport bike where it's kind of like that and then the bar is coming out this way. You can put it over here, then have it come out this way, or you can put it in the front, have it come out this way, or whatever you want to do. Now you take the bar and then you have this little dowel right there on the end, a little metal dowel, and you have a bunch of different holes in there. So you basically place the dowel into one of these holes and then you get different angles. So I'll have to do this with one hand, but the angles in different ways, so you can kind of get that downward angle. That's why it's kind of like crooked. Also, actually, turns out this is has been worn down, so this needs to be leveled out and kind of evened up. Luckily, this is the clutch side, so there's no throttle or anything to go in there, and there's still plenty of room left on the bar. But you kind of see, if I line it up with this one, I'm actually missing a decent amount of bar right there. So that all must have been ground down in whatever crash this thing has found itself in. But I definitely have to kind of do a little bit of metal work, grind them down, get them even. But if I could pull that off, that's basically a saving of basically $250 because I got these for $30. If I could get them up to snuff, then man, that's like incredible savings right there. So I had to try it out at least. Now the first step was to grind down the damage as much as I could to even out the surface. And I can't make it too even because I have to make sure that I have enough metal for, for strength to make it clamp, because I don't want to make it nice and then it doesn't work. I then stripped the anodizing up to a point and then continued on with evening out the surface. After that, I had a paintable surface, so I just threw a quick round of paint on it just to see if this part would be worth powder coating. And I was happy enough to commit to using it. Once I start powder coating things here and there on the bike, I'll just throw these fork rings into the batch so they can get refinished, to match each other. I'll do both of them even though one is damaged. I'll do both of them so they can match each other. but for now they could go on the forks for finalization. The next day of work came when my brake lines and brake pads had finally come in. The pads are the typical EBC sintered type made in the good old USA, but the lines are custom core MOTO ones, a brand that I always go with because you can make your lines look exactly how you need them to, and you can add length to them as well. I actually extended these by 2 inches from stock so that I had some playroom with no issues. When it comes to installing the pads, ththese calipers are actually the monoblock race type, so it's as simple as literally just popping them in and onto that spring. I connected the lines to the calipers, but with no brake master cylinder, there was nothing else I could really do. So from that point, the hunt was on for a master cylinder, and I really learned a lot about brakes during this hunt. The no-brainer answer would be the BREMBO RCS 19 kit, a common upgrade for sport bikes. $300 is so expensive, especially for all that ratio adjustability that I don't even need. I turned my eyes to another Italian racing brand by the name of ACCOSSATO. They've got 19mm that even have integrated reservoirs, but I just wasn't feeling the aesthetics or the price. They look too modern and fancy to me. I ended up going for the NISSIN SHINDY 17658G, which costs less than the competition due to its more simple nature. It also has the ability to mount the reservoir to itself, which is the second best option to a fully integrated one. Note, I do know that you can do the same with the BREMBO RCS, but that's only if you spend another $50 for the mounting kit on the side, which is whack. So I was saving good money by going this route, but the savings got even more extreme. This is throttle housing. So this is actually for a Ducati Monster. So this is a direct swap for a Ducati Monster brake. It'll work just fine on our bike. Brake master cylinder for the front. It's a 19mm piston. Problem is that I'm running such a big brakes, so I can't run like a 17mm or 14mm or the smaller sizes. I have to run a big boy, which is a 19, which makes it very expensive, but I actually managed to get one of these used from Amazon. So on Amazon they post it for like 200 bucks. But this one is used in the warehouse. Well, it's classified as used. But what I think it is that the packaging is just damaged. So, and then they also claim that there was missing hardware, but I could see the hardware in there. It might be missing like a bolt or two. It might have been taken out the packaging. They might have put it back. That's why it's got tape all over it. They probably just took bolts out of it. But it's looking good. Let's open it up and see if everything's in there. Everything that I need. So we got the bracket for the reservoir, and I'm assuming to mount it to the cylinder itself. So we got these. Let's see if this mounts up. Let's just see if this is the right bolt for this. No, it is not. So that goes through there, and then mounts to this bent part, and then this part goes right here. But I have these two, which are mounted to the handlebar, but I'm missing this. Now I'm gonna just look around and see if I happen to have the right size for this bolt right here. These are actually some banjo bolts for like a brake system. So I just have a bunch left over, but check it out. It's the right size. Now, obviously the threads don't go all the way up because it's a banjo bolt. You know, I'm actually very happy with this because the sticker is actually still on there. They classified it as used, but the sticker is still there, like the warning sticker. I actually managed to get everything mounted. So with this this brake line bolt, I took 2 washers and just mounted it under that little bracket right here. This little rubber thing where the hose attaches to, you can rotate it. So I rotated everything so the hose doesn't have a kink in it. Got all the hardware I need. I was kind of worried. I didn't know what was missing because it wasn't very specific. We were just saying it was missing some hardware. So what I think it was missing was this thing on the top, this bolt right here on the top that you mount the reservoir with. Obviously, we already covered that. And the other one that doesn't have this little mount right here for the reservoir, because I know they had come with a second one with this kit. But yeah, man, $200 retail. Only paid 68 bucks for this. And this is brand new. This has never been used. They just missing a couple things. They probably just took it from here to put in another box or something, or maybe just fell out because the box was damaged. But yeah, that's a good score. $68 for a $200 product. I can't be more happy about that. So this right here is a throttle tube for, like I said, a Ducati Monster, like a late model Ducati Monster. And people commonly run these on, you know, vintage style bikes, but it's a single pull throttle. So you only got one cable coming out this tip right here. So instead of doing like a kind of like a push-pull cable. You can't really have a push cable, but you going like this with the throttle actually closes the throttle bodies. But the K100 only has a single wire a single cable going to the throttle bodies, which isn't ideal, especially if it gets stuck. There's no way to kind of, you know, yank it closed. That's how they did it. So these came with these basic OEM Ducati grips, which I won't be using, but it'll be nice to kind of mock them up for right now. This R6 clutch perch is still here is because, like I mentioned earlier, this is actually flared out from the whatever crash this thing got in. Yeah, it's flared out on the top mainly, so that's kind of where it got bent up. So I'm gonna cut that off because I can't actually get this clutch perch all the way off. It gets stuck at the end. Chop that off a little bit because, I mean, I plan to chop this side off too because this side is long. I mean, this side got ground down, but I'm gonna make them as narrow as possible. So I'm gonna make it real compact looking. But I don't wanna cut off too much because I don't know how much I need yet. But I'm gonna cut off just enough that I could get this perch off. And that'll be level on that side. How I plan to do this is I'm gonna use this clutch perch as a guide so I can keep my cut straight. So you can see it stops about there. So I'm gonna bring it back like, let's say like right there. And I'll tighten it down and I'll just cut along that line. So it didn't quite keep it straight, but you got it off. The reason why it's in the bathroom is because the bathroom has the best lighting of the basement. It's kind of yellow over there, but this is like a nice white. But anyway, starting with the throttle, I can't really rigidly mount it because it has that little tab in the middle where you drill a hole into the bar, so it's kind of loose. But yeah, it's on there. I had to get rid of that little rubber nipple that kind of runs through there, which is a shame because I kind of like it. But this end is where the cable is going to come out, then I'm going to route it through there. As you can see, I got plenty of space to do that. I put up the old headlight just to see if nothing was in the way, and everything clears. Eventually, I actually had to move the reservoir from mounting it right here, and it's mounted to the end of the handlebar, so it goes through there just perfectly, and the angle is actually perfect too. So it kind of goes like this, and it makes an L. So the reservoir mounts right there. The hose needs to be shortened, so instead of coming like this, it'll just go straight to it, so I can angle this part. So this needs to be shorter. I'm gonna get a much smaller brake reservoir, and I'll probably shorten this bracket just to bring it back a little bit, because as you can see, it's like right over the headlight, or maybe bring it up. Whatever the case may be, it just needs to be it needs to be pushed back and maybe down or up. The brake lines are connected to it. There's no fluid in there, but they go back down to the calipers, which have the pads in them. Oh, by the way, this actually just barely fit. Like, that's literally all I have left, and this can't go any further this way. So it just fit. Like, I got real lucky with this. But what's gonna go here is the blaze turn signal. So that's gonna fit just perfectly right there, which is fantastic. This side is the side that I didn't get crashed on, so it's longer. So if you look from the front, you can see that that side is obviously a little bit longer. But I'm gonna cut it down to the same length as this once I get everything mounted up. And you might notice that there's no controls on this side. That's because I'm gonna put all the controls on this side. So it's gonna be turn signal, grip, 6-button control, and then the clutch. And I'm gonna condense everything down and then cut the bar to length. Right now the clutch side is in the male, so the clutch perch and the lever and stuff, and the grips too, so the brown grips, which kind of will stand out against all of the black and gold that's on the front. I'm gonna get this part of both sides powder coated just so they match. Yeah, it looks really good, even with the damage on there. Like, you could run that because it kind of gets hidden by all the stuff in front of it. It was definitely a good note to end the night on, but the job was far from done. It was time to begin finalizing the left handlebar. The clutch perch and grips that I mentioned finally arrived from Cognito Moto on the next day of work. Obviously, the clutch perch is very simple to mount. You literally just slide it on. At the time, I didn't have 2 switch blocks, so I just split the one in half to see if everything would clear once I got the second one. And things definitely looked good, but a problem arose in that the left bar was still much longer than the right. So I marked it out to cut it and realized that if I was gonna fit everything on it, it would look horribly uneven from the front. It's like if someone had a longer arm than the other. So I cut the bar, but then everything wouldn't fit. So my fallback idea was to run the even smaller M-Switch minis. but it killed me inside to know that it would cost $300 just to get 2 sets of those things versus another $120 for the more normal sized one. I couldn't justify it, so I experimented with grinding the clutch perch down to a more slim size just to see if I could get away with making more space on a shorter bar that way. And I confirmed that indeed it would work. So I ordered a more streamlined and simple clutch perch with the next parts haul, and again I'll let myself explain more as well as show what came in that day. Yo, big parts haul coming in today, man. Big parts haul. I didn't even expect, like, I only expected the headlight to come today and this clutch lever, but all my well, not all of it, but most of my Revzilla stuff came in. So I got a second like switch housing, so it's the same thing as the one I already had, the M switches from Moto Gadget, but these are another set and these have polished buttons, so it's going to differentiate itself from the other one which has black buttons, but I'm gonna put them right next to each other. I was gonna, for a second I was gonna run Moto Gadget M Switch Minis, which are like these tiny little things, because I realized that I wasn't gonna have enough space right here for two of these full size ones. Let me just pop that open real quick. I wasn't gonna have enough space for 2 of these right here, and I probably already explained, but I didn't exactly have a lot of real estate with these bars. So what I had to do was shave down this clutch perch and move it closer to the center. So you can see it's kind of cut right there. And I did a poor job of cutting it. So like basically I was like, well, I just gotta find a clutch perch that's already kind of shaped like this from, you know, out the box. But I did it anyway. I just went through with it so I could at least see if I have enough space for 2 of these, and you kind of see roughly I definitely do. So, you know, one over here, one over here. I also have these M-Blaze disc bar and turn signals. So, but the thing that makes it special is that it actually emits light all the way around this disc. Put at the bar and it'll be visible from the front and the back by just going right there on the bar end. You know, you don't got nothing sticking out the side of the headlight. Next up, we got that OEM style clutch perch, and the great thing about this, now that I realize it, is that this gold actually matches the gold that comes out of the throttle housing right there. With that gold, yeah, that matches it really nicely. How this could get it all the way flush up against the bar. More than that, because you see you got that used to actually come out a lot more, because that's where the little clip that kept the adjustment ring in place. This is my new Rhizoma brake reservoir. And the funny thing about this is that it's actually for the clutch. But the thing about it, the reason why I got it is because for hydraulic clutches, the reservoir tends to be smaller than the brake side. As your front brake, it'll almost always be a smaller, cleaner look. So this is the new place that I'm going to be mounting it, and it's going to look a lot. It's going to blend in a lot more with this black one. So this, you know, piss cup right here. So I ordered one more thing from Revzilla, but it was something that didn't ship from Philly. It actually shipped from what's the other, Las Vegas. You know, they got 2 warehouses. So the other thing I had was a CRG bar and mirror that I was gonna put on this side right here. So I was gonna cut this piece off where they have the crease. I was gonna cut this off right here and then clip it on and then put the blaze turn signal on this end. But that's gonna come tomorrow because they have to ship it from Las Vegas as opposed to Philly. The great thing about shipping from Philly is that you get it the next day because I'm in New York. So from Philly to Brooklyn, that's like no time at all. But when they ship from Las Vegas, you gotta wait another day. But that's the one reason why I love Revzilla. It's always like 1 or 2 day shipping. The reason why I hate Revzilla is these stickers that they always give you every single time. Oh, and these wine vouchers too. I put these with the other 100 that I got. And this is actually our new headlight from MOTODEMIC. It's the 7-inch standard headlight, but I opted for the LED bulb. So it's not like the LED headlights that have like 600 LEDs, you know, all sprinkled around in a bucket. It's just a regular standard headlight, but it has a LED bulb that came with it from what's like Cyclops, some brand called Cyclops, I guess. Really expensive bulb, but really high quality. So I also got the, remember when I said I wanted the 54 mil fork rings, because I had the 50 and the 54, but it would mount it way too high. So I opted for another set of 54s so I can mount it low down here. So I also got those. Dude, the quality on this headlight was leaps and bounds above that plastic thing that I had on there. This one was made of full metal. It had a hand-brushed retainer ring and real glass in the front. I also finally ordered those 54mm fork rings to go with the ones that I already had in order to mount the headlights super low on the forks. It came with the headlight bulb kit, which I already had, but whatever. And also that LED bulb that I mentioned. MOTODEMIC is even cool enough to install the LED bulb for you and put the halogen one that the headlight would normally come with in the box for the LED. Oh, and it also comes with a few rather cool stickers. Or maybe it's just for me, because in the buyer notes I wrote, "I love you." First, to remove the old headlight. And now to install the MOTODEMIC mounts along with the headlight itself. And the final step is to fall in absolute love with this headlight. I mean, just look at it. This thing is so blingy, but it looks so good. So I recently posed the question if shorties would look better than aluminum colored long style levers. And this visual definitely swayed my mind in the direction of the OEM style. But unfortunately, the long aluminum lever wouldn't fit on the smaller Perch that I just bought. So I had to grind it down for like 30 minutes to make it fit, and it fit no problem. After that, I was able to begin mounting the controls. But here's the thing, anyone who's ever done a project will tell you that sometimes things don't go to plan. If that's not apparent enough, sometimes things they don't work at all. And I ran into a literal wall when it came to installing those bar end turn signals. And in the moment, I was just kind of focused on fixing the problem and not necessarily on filming, but I came to a solution, or rather an idea of how to fix it, but then the universe threw another issue at me. So the trials and tribulations just keep rolling on. So I know I was going to do the blaze turn signals on both ends. I actually cut this one in anticipation of doing that, but what I didn't actually realize is that doesn't go through. You see there's like a dead stop right there. And I mean, I could drill this out and, you know, do whatever it takes to get the wires through, but it's not worth it. It's really not worth it. Instead, what I decided to do was run one of these. Now these are like the turn signals that go around the fork. So this is like the next best option when it comes to just doing something clean without having anything kind of sticking out from over there. This is a CRG BLINDSIGHT. What I originally was gonna do was mount it on this actual bar itself and then put the blaze turn signal. I can't do that anymore. So what I was gonna do is put this piece of cut grit back. You can't even tell that I cut it. So my plan now was to put the bar end through this hole and then mount the mirror to it, since I can't put it on the bar and, you know, whatever. So what I did was I ordered two CRG bar and mirror adapters. But guess what? They sent me, I'm so upset. They sent me a 7/8 one, which is the one I need, but they also sent me a 1-inch one. And this is like the size for like a big old cruiser or something. And here's the thing, their inventory sticker says that this is a 7/8. You can see 7/8 right there. But this is not even a fault of my own. This is actually whatever warehouse this came from Amazon. So yeah, that's highly annoying. So installing these new 360 turn signals is a literal snap. There's no tools needed. They just clip right in if you selected the right diameter, at least. And mine is 54, which I already established. I mounted them on the inside of the headlight rings for maximum cleanliness, and then I just use those little rubber grips that they give you so they don't, you know, spin around on the fork when the bike starts vibrating. And really, that's it. Honestly, I think I like this solution better. At least if I drop the bike now, I won't instantly smash a $120 turn signal. So let's recap the controls real quick. We got chocolate colored BILTWELL thruster grips, a Domino throttle, a Shindy NISSIN 19mm master cylinder with a Rhizoma clutch side reservoir, Core Moto custom brake lines, MOTODEMIC headlight, Rage Cycles 360 indicators, Motion Pro clutch perch, Moto Gadget M switch controls, and a CRG mirror. It's more or less complete as a front end, but we're actually missing a motoscope mini gauge, a fender, and obviously the wheel and the rotors themselves. And that's why I've actually started making wheel preparations now. I've got the rotors on the way, I have the new wheel bearings in my possession, and I've made an appointment with my powder coater. Hell, I've probably already gave him the wheels by the time this video comes out. Once I get the wheel and fender stuff done, I will address the frame with Keith. I know I keep saying that, but I will. Then I'll get it powder coated, and then I can attach it to the front end, and then I'll have a roller. Also, I've actually sent my throttle body assembly to the best guy in the business for a rebuild and a refinish, but I guess I'll just save more information on that for the next episode. I want this bike on the road yesterday, so let's keep up that great momentum we got going, shall we? Thanks for watching. Hell, thanks for waiting. I'll see you on the next one.